This is take 3, by the way.
Yeah, it's fine. No, it's kind of like take 3, take 4. That's okay. We made a whole cocktail. It was a very delicious, lovely cocktail.
Okay, well, we can still describe how it was made. This is the finished product.
We're having a really rough go. Okay, so we made the cucumber gin mojito. It is made with, we did Bombay Sapphire gin, some fresh cucumber, fresh mint. So basically the first step is that you're going to take a little bit of your gin, some simple syrup, your freshly cut cucumber, and your mint. You're going to muddle it all down at the bottom, top it up with a little bit of soda, put in some more fresh mint and fresh cucumber, fresh lime, top it up again with the rest of your soda, throw in your straw, muddle it all up.
There you have it. Whoops-a-daisy.
That's fine. For all of you listeners. For you YouTubers, you might just get like a nice little extra long video with some horrible sound until our actual sound kicks in, but that's fine. And for all of those who are listening, Allie closed or removed subjects.
Removed subjects on a condo today.
Which is very exciting.
Yay. Yes.
Good, Allie.
Thank you.
But yeah, anyways, so my day was good. I got a lot done, which made me feel very happy. So
good.
I made some notes because of things that I wanted to mention to you. So first off, I finished watching the first season of Salt Lake City, Real Housewives. Oh my gosh. So Jen is crazy.
Yeah.
First of all, I don't understand how there are still some of the women that defend her.
Yeah.
And we haven't even gotten to the whole scandal yet.
No.
We haven't even gotten to her getting arrested. It's literally just her as a person. And what's really frustrating to me is I really don't like when people use the excuse of like being marginalized as a reason why they are assholes. So I don't like that she says things like, you know, I'm in a city of Utah and like I'm one of the only black people and
She's not black.
I know. And that's the other thing. She said that too. But I don't like when you say like, well, that's the reason why I'm an asshole. The reason why I'm an asshole is because I've always had to try to fit in. I've never felt like I belonged. So I'm a total bitch to everybody.
Yeah.
And I mean, overreact to situations. I mean,
we don't know what that's like. So
of course
I
not.
empathize with that.
Totally.
But she needs to go to anger management.
But that's the thing,
because
is that's a separate issue.
Yeah, well, you can't be throwing glasses and screaming at everybody, and that's why her friends are scared of her, because she's angry and she needs to.
It's her reaction.
Deal with her anger in a productive way.
Exactly, you know, and I just don't think that it's fair to take out, you know, the struggles that you're having in your marriage or the challenges that you're having at your job or whatever, and taking that on other people and then reacting in this huge blow up to other people. And, you know, how embarrassing. And she freaks out at her husband's birthday party and then blames it on somebody else
for making her mad
instead of holding herself accountable for what she actually did in that whole situation. It's a lot of like pushing her feelings onto other people.
Can we mention the fact that the person who made her mad was Whitney, and she was so drunk she couldn't even like get her words out? So like, somebody like that is going to make you mad. I would be like, you're embarrassing yourself. You're so drunk. Get out of here.
I'm walking away from this situation. Yeah, exactly. I know. Which, speaking of which, this leads me to my next thing. The TikTok that you sent me today about Kim Richards. She looks like a completely different person.
What happened to her?
She has had a lot of work done because she looks like a completely different person.
So yeah, the video we're referencing is there's a video or a picture of Kim Richards that just came out. Portia, Kyle's daughter, just had her bat mitzvah over the last weekend, and Kim Richards' face is unrecognizable. She looks amazing.
She looks fantastic. It's a completely different person.
But she looks just...
It's kind of totally like how Dorit, when Dorit came back into this season, she kind of looked like a different person too.
Yeah.
I don't feel that way as much anymore after watching the season, but Kim... It's her face has been completely restructured.
She looks more like
she looks
Kathy.
Great. Yeah. She looks fantastic. She looks young. Like she looks great.
Yeah.
But wow.
It's a lot.
Is right. It's a lot. I already know the answer to this because I just know you. But have you been watching Squid Games at all?
What?
Do you know what that is?
No.
So there's this new show on Netflix. It's #1 in Canada, and they say that it's going to be Netflix's #1 stream show of all time.
What?
Yeah. So it's a Korean-made show.
Okay.
The creator of this show actually tried to pitch the show about 10 years ago to a bunch of different networks and had a really hard time getting it picked up. And he actually had to like sell his laptop for $600 so that he could afford to live while he was writing this script.
Oh my God.
And now it's been picked up and it's being shown in like 90 different countries, and it's the #1 show in the world. Squid Games.
What is it about?
You will not want to watch it because it's violent. So
no, I don't like that.
So essentially it's about a man who's, you know, very down in the dumps. He owes a lot of money to a lot of people.
Okay.
Big gambler. You know, his daughter is getting moved to the States because her mom is just like, you know, you're a deadbeat dad and I've got a new husband. And
he lives in Korea?
He lives in Korea.
Okay.
Lives in South Korea. You know, he almost can't afford to pay his mortgage anymore, but he's taking money from his mom to go gamble to get more money to pay back the loan sharks that he owes money to, and all this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Basically, he gets approached in a subway for this guy who's basically says, let's play a game. If you win, I'll give you $100,000. If I win, you owe me. So they keep kind of playing this game, and he keeps getting further and further into debt. And the guy basically says, you know, I've got a better game for you. Come and play this game for me, and you have the opportunity to win like millions and millions of dollars. You know, do you want to come and play? Like, it's really simple games like this. And the guy's like, yeah, totally. Well, they come pick him up one night and drug him in this van so that he doesn't know where he's going.
Okay.
Gets to this like facility with about 400 other people who also owe like millions of dollars in debt. And I say million, it's actually it's millions in the Korean money. So I'm not positive on what the translate. Yeah. But anyways, so it's these games that they have to play that are just basic kids games. Like, remember the game Red Light, Green Light?
Yeah.
That's what they have to play. Well, if you lose the game, they kill you.
Oh.
So I've only watched the first episode, and I think there's 6 episodes in the season, but it's basically why it's so popular is just because the cinematography is incredible. The sets that they've created are just so like artistically beautiful, and like the use of color and the use of themes throughout the whole show is really great. Secondly, like, the acting is incredible. It's dubbed. You can either watch it in Korean with English subtitles, or you can watch it dubbed.
Yeah.
We've been watching the dubbed version, which is hard because you don't always get like the actual emotion with what they're saying sometimes. Right. And it's just like the story and just the plot is like really mind twisting. So that's why I've only watched 1 episode so far, because it's kind of a bit of like a mind fuck. Like, you watch the episode and you're like, well, I feel extremely depressed about the world.
I don't like that.
I know. Where I like shows like that only because like if they're really well done, then I don't mind them, and it just kind of gets you thinking about the world in a way. Mm-hmm. But it's taking the entire like internet by storm. And it's #1 in the entire world for like #1 stream show. So, which is crazy.
That is crazy.
I know. So all you Squid Gamers, I haven't watched the rest of it, but I've heard that I need to, because apparently it just gets better and better.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So,
well, I don't think I'll be watching that because
I don't. I know you don't like stuff like that.
But if we're going to talk about Netflix, okay, so I watched the Britney Spears documentary on Netflix, and I realized
that's Britney versus Spears.
Britney versus Spears, yeah. So then I watched the whole thing, and then I realized that they didn't mention the concert in Vancouver. So I'm like, I was watching the whole thing. I didn't see it. So
I thought that was the one that they talked about. I thought that was the one.
I missed it. Or I didn't miss it. I was like, what the hell? So I looked it up. There is a 3rd Britney Spears documentary.
Right.
It's on Crave TV here in Canada. It's on Hulu.
What's it called?
Shoot. I wrote it down. Controlling Britney Spears.
Okay.
And Britney versus Spears is the one on Netflix.
Right.
They're both very good.
Are they... I was worried that with there being a few different documentaries out, that they would have like very similar stuff.
They do, and they're recent because they show clips of her testimony that was on June 23rd, and they showed like there was an update from September 7th. Yeah, from when Jamie was removed as conservator. Right. So yeah, so these are very recent, and they're both really good. And I was just like, I was kind of having a bad day yesterday, so I watched these documentaries, and I was just like sobbing. Yeah. By the end, like it was just It's just crazy. It's so sad.
Yeah. What I liked about Britney versus Spears is one of the filmmakers is a journalist for Rolling Stones. Yeah. And she had a very personal connection with Britney and actually helped her in part of her legal battle. Yes. So you're not just getting filmmakers that have nothing, that don't know anything about the story and portray it in their kind of bias. Like, I really like how they stayed very objective and said, these are the facts. These are the concrete facts. And this is how involved we actually are in this story. And we care about what the result is.
Yes. So both of those documentaries have Felicia.
Yes. I thought it was interesting some of the things that Felicia was saying because she really didn't want to rock the boat. So she wouldn't say certain things. And she felt bad that she wouldn't talk about it. Yeah. So, certain things she's kind of like, I don't want to talk about it.
Look what they've done to Britney. They could ruin her life.
Exactly.
Like, I think, here's a question. Where is Lynn Spears? How come she hasn't said anything? She's obviously scared of Jamie.
You'd assume, because it sounds like what Felicia was talking about is that her and Lynn were very much on the same page and that Jamie was never around. He was never involved.
No, he was an alcoholic. He's just drinking. And
exactly. Yeah. Well, and that made me feel really bad when Britney was talking about how I get drug tested all the time and I will lose my kids. I'll lose everything if I even have one positive result. If I'm put under the same scrutiny and drug testing, then my conservator should also be put under the same requirements that I have.
Why would you want an alcoholic managing your finances?
Exactly. And I also thought it was interesting how she made a comment about how I understand having my estate being a part of the conservatorship, no problem. Handle my finances, great. Yeah. But like, I don't think if you guys feel that I can go on tour and I can do all these albums and I can be, have a show in Vegas, I should be able to have my personal freedom and I should be able to make that choice. If that means controlling my estate, then that's fine. But let me make my own personal choices. Oh, so I mean, obviously she's with it enough to make that kind of a decision. Yeah. I know. I felt really bad for her.
Not to mention, she was overworked in Vegas. Yeah. To the point where, like, one of her dancers, the tour was over and then they were going to go on another tour or whatever. And the dancer were like, we're tired. We need time off. And if they need time off,
so does the lead singer.
So does she.
Exactly.
And they weren't going to let her have any time off.
Well, I thought it was interesting how in the Britney versus Spears documentary, they mention how during her 5-year residency at Vegas, there's not really a whole lot that's known about that time. Like there isn't a whole lot of information about it. Well, that's a core chunk of time.
It is. Well, she wasn't on Instagram doing all these like weird posts. So no one knew what was going on.
I feel bad for her that she said, I was taking these meds. I liked the meds that I was on. And then all of a sudden they just want to change my meds and they want me to be on lithium and it makes me feel even worse. And I mean, imagine that somebody else has control over your bank account, your life. You can't even leave the house. You can't call anybody. You can't do something. You're giving drugs. I mean, fuck.
Well, I mean, and like having
that's all she's
not
known.
Having her money. Also, it's like, okay, so this was on Controlling Britney Spears because it was her stylist on the Circus tour is the one who they're interviewing. Yeah, and so she said that they were at a stadium. And there was like a little store in the stadium, and Britney saw these shoes that she wanted. Yeah, and she was told no, she doesn't need them. They're Skechers. It's not
she's got millions and millions of dollars.
It's not like she wanted like a pair of Louboutins that are hundreds of dollars. She probably wanted an $80 pair of sneakers and she was told no. So
it's ridiculous.
The costume designer went and got them and said that they were part of the costume. Yeah. And then she was like, she had to justify like, oh, they just didn't work for
that's ridiculous.
Thing, so Britney's going to take them home.
That's ridiculous. Yeah, see, and even how she was talking about how if they wanted to go out for a burger, she'd have to call someone and then wait 20 minutes. Yeah. Or if she wanted to buy something, she'd have to call someone, wait a couple of days and see if she could do it. I mean, that's ridiculous. Yeah. So, and it must be difficult when you have somebody who's in charge of you that has that doesn't want what's best for you, that they're supposed to be the ones that are making decisions that are best for your life and they're not. No. And then they're financially gaining from it. I mean, what did it say? Her dad made over $2 million just from her show in Vegas or from her tours.
He got 1.5% of the ticket sales. Right. Which is a lot.
Yes.
And her court-appointed lawyer has made $3 million off of her conservatorship.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, I'm sure that money's not her motivator. She genuinely likes performing.
Yeah. But I mean, I don't see her doing it anytime soon.
Mm-mm. No, I agree. But yeah, I definitely feel bad for her. I haven't watched the other ones, but I'm intrigued too. And I'm glad that obviously things are moving towards her getting her life back.
Yeah.
You know, I think it's interesting that now all of a sudden they're allowed to start putting this kind of stuff out. I mean, like how Melanie was talking about last week about how she, you know, things got fact checked on Facebook about a year or two ago about something to do with Britney's conservatorship. And now all of a sudden it's widely known, you know, and so it's unfortunate that they weren't able to talk about this sooner, but hopefully we're working towards resolution.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I hope so.
Yeah. But it is what it is. So yeah, I gotta watch those, and then I'm still working through the Marvel universe again. I thought about you last night because I thought, oh, Allie said that she might want to watch these. I should wait and like watch them all with you. But there's so many of them.
There's so many, and they're so long.
They're very long. They are. I usually have to watch like half of one, and then I kind of like either fall asleep or I have to watch something else, and then you know.
Yeah. My favorite show is now on Netflix.
Seinfeld. Oh my gosh. I just watched, I made Jeremy watch the episode with me when Jerry and Elaine go to Florida, and then Jack Klompus gives him the astronaut pen, and then Elaine's sleeping on the polo couch and has the bar in her back, so she has a really bad back, and they give her muscle relaxers. And like, Stella. I find the first like few seasons are just so funny. All of them are, but
my favorite season is season 5.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
It's hard for me because I haven't watched it through enough yet to know exactly when each of the episodes are within the seasons. Mm-hmm. Like I know with Friends and like The Office, but I haven't watched it enough start to finish.
You'll get there.
Oh yeah. It's so good.
I just have it on in the background all the time. It only came out like a couple days ago. I'm on season 3.
Oh wow, you're starting right from the beginning and going?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, I just love it.
Yeah, I did that with Sex and the City. I'm over it now. I know you don't watch Game of Thrones either, but there's a new trailer for the new Game of Thrones show. So they're doing a prequel to the Game of Thrones, and it's about the Targaryens and just kind of like their reign 500 years prior to Game of Thrones. It's going to be so good. Like the trailer was amazing. It's going to be so good. I just need you to watch that show so we can talk about it.
It's too violent.
Oh gosh, Allie.
It's too long. I just don't think I can do it.
It's so good. I know it's not your type of show at all, but it's so good and I'm so excited. So one thing I wanted to ask you, so I did my management summit on Friday.
Right.
And one of the things that we talked about was our Enneagram. Have you ever done that before?
No, what is that?
So it's a type of personality test.
Oh, okay.
It's like the Myers-Briggs personality test. And essentially what it is there's 9 different personality types. Okay. And every person is made up of one of those personality types.
Okay.
And they basically center around a head center, a body center, or a heart center. So, and that's basically like your driving motivator. So for instance, someone who's like a head center type, they are people that are very like, they're thinkers. They need a lot of data. They analyze situations. They have ideas. They maybe are not necessarily the go and do it. They're the, I need to think about it and develop my strategy first before I go and do it.
Okay.
Some of them are very like kind of maybe reclusive in some of their thoughts. Takes them a while to kind of process the information before creating a solution. But they're very like strategizing, basically.
Okay.
Your body centers are action people. They don't necessarily need like all of the information before they make a decision. They're go, do. They're the ones that are in a meeting and they're like, can we just get this fucking over with so I can go and do what I want to do?
Yeah.
They are, they like to be in control. They like to, power, that kind of stuff. Where the heart centers are very like, they use their feelings and their emotions when they make decisions. They essentially like, they can read people really well. They might not necessarily be, they're doers, but they don't necessarily need all of the information. They can kind of get what they need just by reading people and feeling out the situations.
Okay.
So we did it as part of my management summit because there's 6 of us that are department heads, and we're all very different personality types. Yeah. We're all like A-type personalities, but we're very different in the way that we see the world or how we interact with each other. So we did this seminar. It was really interesting. It's through a company called Art of Growth, and they're out of Boston. And they use the Enneagram to coach people just in their personal lives or their work lives. And they develop and figure out which personality type you all are and then how you can work together. Okay. So we all kind of figured out what our types were, which was also really interesting just to kind of see, you know, what type you are so that I can learn how to better communicate with you, or how you work, what you need, what you don't need, how you see the world, how you see situations. And because that can be really challenging when you're in a corporate structure, totally. You know, because if, for instance, we determined that one of the guys that works in our office is a type 5, and which is very in your head. You need to analyze the situation first. They don't like when people just come bursting into their office. Hey, how are you doing? Here's what I need. Give me the answer to this question right now. They need to like process everything first. They're very kind of quiet. They observe. They're the investigator. So now I kind of got to see, I didn't realize that maybe I'm putting too much pressure on that person with what I need, and I need to maybe like take a second and maybe send them an email the day before I have our meeting of like, this is what we're going to be talking about tomorrow, so you can prepare yourself, right? That kind of a stuff. Right. Yeah. Where I'm a type 3, I'm a driven, goal oriented overachiever, but I need recognition. So my work needs to be recognized, and I need to be appreciated, and I need to know that you recognize what I'm doing as part of my job. Right. And I don't necessarily need more money. I just need to be told that, hey, I see that you're doing a good job. I see that you are striving to be your best, and I appreciate you. Yeah. You know, where we determined that some of the people that we work with are the peacekeepers. They don't like to rock the boat. They just want everyone to be happy. They're happy with whatever the decision is that's being made. Just as long as everyone's happy, I'm cool with it. So you just tell me what you need me to do. I'm going to do it. I'm fine with that. Not a problem. I just want everyone to be good. Right. We also determined that some of them are like, I like to be in control. I don't like anybody else in my business. I want to be able to be in control of what's happening. I'm maybe not super self-aware that that's what I'm doing, but like, I know that I don't need anybody to kind of tell me what to do. This is how I am. It was very, very interesting. So now there's a lot of different ways that can kind of come into your life as well. They call it instincts. So like, my driving instinct is the sexual instinct. So for instance, I know. So I was listening to a podcast about this because there was other like 3s that also have the sexual instinct. Okay. So for instance, you're really good at finding a connection with someone right away and using that connection to kind of get what you want. So like in the restaurant, you're really good at coming up to a table and right away you're like, hey, how's it going? What do we need? Oh, I've already figured out who my people are, what they need, how I can better serve them. You know, you kind of manipulate situations in the sense that like, you can read people right away, so you can use that information to your advantage and figure out how to better serve them or purpose them. You know, it's your motivator is finding that connection with people, not necessarily a sexual connection, but it's more just like a chemistry thing, where there's other motivators that are more like self-reliant, where, you know, you maybe need that connection more than I need that connection with you, that kind of stuff. So It's very interesting.
Okay, I want to take this quiz. Where do you do this?
So there's the company's called Art of Growth.
Art of Growth.
That's who we did it through. You can search Enneagram on Google, and there's lots of different websites that can do like the Enneagram test.
We'll put a link on
we'll put a link
Instagram.
on there. But I found that I really liked Art of Growth. I liked their way of portraying it.
Do you have to pay for this quiz?
No.
Okay.
It takes about 10 to 15 minutes. It's about 65 different questions, and it's basically, how much you agree or disagree with the questions that it's asking you.
Is it kind of similar to like a disc profile?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, very
that.
similar. Yeah, very similar. And so then it just kind of gives you an idea, a very detailed description of kind of which type you are and how you think and what you need, what your motivators are.
Yeah.
And then it's interesting to do it in a group setting as well to see how other people are. And the cool thing about Art of Growth is because they do this for a business, they actually will have like what they'll do is they'll have an actual interview with people, and they find that that's the best way to actually determine your actual type, because they can find that within the first 5 minutes they can already determine what kind of type you are,
right?
And then they can start to really drill down into your personality type and what you need and what you get, and all these different kind of parts of those personality types that will work for you and what won't. And it's interesting in an office setting because then you actually get to see who each other is.
Right.
And they were talking about even relationships. Like the guy was like, we commonly see this type and this type together. That's a really great relationship. This type and this type are not a really good relationship.
Yeah.
And we constantly see that doesn't work well. They were talking about how some types notoriously become CEOs where other types don't. Other types like to just be kind of in the middle. They don't necessarily need to progress. They're happy just being in the middle and making sure everyone's happy. It's interesting how at the end of the day, we all just fall into 9 personality types.
Yeah.
So yeah,
that is interesting.
We'll link it. And I found Tila actually was posting her Enneagram type yesterday.
Oh, okay.
And there's people on Instagram that post about it constantly. Obviously that's part of their job, is just determining the different types and how they work in different situations. So I'm going to start following some of those because I think it just gives you a better understanding of just who you are and what you need and how you can interact with other people. And maybe if I knew what type you are, then I can understand you better, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, it's really cool.
Well, maybe I'll take the quiz after this.
Yeah, you should. I really recommend it to anybody that's in like a business setting, obviously. And I think it's a really quick team building thing too, just to understand a little bit more of how each other works.
Cool. Should we talk about market stats?
Yes. So it's near the beginning of the month, so we've got new market stats for September.
Yes. So let me just pull this up here. Very interesting stuff. If you're into that.
Well, if you're looking for a house, it's really important.
Market stats. Let's do just Nanaimo. Let's just do Nanaimo. Okay. The average price of a townhouse in Nanaimo, $487,073. That is up.
Of a townhouse?
Yep. That's up 16% over last year.
Oh my gosh, that's high. I was not thinking that high.
And okay, so we're talking about an inventory problem here. It is bad. It's the worst it's ever been. There is nothing out there. It's very frustrating for buyers right now.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Okay, so units listed in September, townhomes, 20. That's down 56% over last year.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Units sold, think about this, 23. There were only 20 units listed.
That's insane.
23 units sold, okay? That's just crazy. The average price of a condo, $380,239.
Yep.
An increase only 3% over last year.
That's really high for a condo, because a condo used to be one of those things that you would, a first time home buyer, you get into. It's an investment property. I mean, that's wow.
I know people who paid $380 for their house 5 years ago.
Yeah, because what is 20% of 380,000? Let's just do, so that means you need 75 grand to put down if you want to do 20%.
Yep.
Wow, that's insane.
It's a lot. There were 39 units listed in September and 38 sold.
Wow.
And that's 25% less than last year.
Yeah. So I mean,
units listed.
So inventory is moving really, really quickly.
Yeah. Super quick. Now, we don't do lots.
No one cares about lots.
Guys, the average price of a house, a freestanding house
in Nanaimo,
$829,411. That's an increase of 31% over last year. That is just crazy.
Wow.
There were 124 units listed and 132 sold.
Wow.
8 more units sold than were listed in September.
So are these stats like based on when the house actually closed?
Oh, that's a good question. I don't know. I think pending, which means pending doesn't mean that it's closed. It means that it's subject free. So it either was a subject free offer or they removed subjects.
It's off the market now.
It's no longer available.
Okay.
It is sold.
So then it'll be interesting to see how we move forward with these stats, because it was kind of around this time last year that the market started really going crazy.
That was
the
where
prices increased.
That's true. That it was, September was the month that we were starting to see multiple offers and things starting to sell over the ask. Like, I remember I had this couple that last year that I was working with that started looking in September. And, they were just kind of dipping their toe in. They were just kind of starting to look. And then, by October, I was like, oh shit, like there's a shift.
Yeah.
There's a shift. And it was like, they couldn't wrap their brains around having to pay more than the asking price. Right. And so they kept losing in multiple offers because they just couldn't wrap their brain around, why would we pay more than the asking price? But the asking price is the asking price. That doesn't mean that it's the market value of the home. Right. It is a made up price. It's based on real things. Yeah. But ultimately the market value of a property is how much somebody is willing to pay for it.
It's kind of like art. That's how art is. It's worth whatever someone's willing to pay for it. So if someone's willing to pay $1 million for this cup right here, then that's how much it's worth now. And then that's what happens with art a lot of the time, right? So
that's what happens. So let's just... it'll be interesting to see the market stats next month because, we'll start to see, hopefully, not a crazy increase in prices over last year because, we've been in this crazy market now for just about a year. Right. So, yeah.
So what other cities do you get market updates for? Is it just like the Central Island?
Yeah, just Central Island. So I have stats for Parksville, Qualicum, and...
Let's do Parksville, Qualicum. Okay. Because the last time that we did an update was in August. We talked about the August ones. Yeah. And the average house, correct me if I'm wrong, I think it was 850 something for Parksville. So
you have a better memory than I do, but...
I think it was 857.
Okay.
So I'm intrigued to see what it would be for Parksville, Qualicum now.
Okay. The average price, oh God. The average price of a house in Parksville, Qualicum, that does include Nanaimo, okay? $900,560. That's an increase of 30% over last year.
That's insane.
Yeah. There were 60 units listed and 60 units sold. The average, and that is a decrease of 38%.
Wow.
So, yeah, everything that gets listed is getting sold.
Especially since, that's a growing community. A lot more people are wanting to move there. Yeah. And $900,000. A lot of people that want to move there are retiring. They can afford $900,000.
Nope.
Wow. Yeah. So every house that was listed was sold.
Yeah. Every single one. So it's just crazy.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah. And I actually pulled this stat today because I wanted to know. So in Nanaimo, and this is the only stat, so don't ask me for more, but okay, I looked up how many houses are on the market in Nanaimo right now. Just houses, not condos, townhouses, just single family homes. Mm-hmm. There's 114 for sale right now. So those are ones that are showing as active. Right. How many of those 114 houses
have offers on them?
Probably most of them.
Yeah.
I'm planning a tour for a client tomorrow. For tomorrow, it's in, Nanaimo, Parksville, Qualicum. It's a pretty broad search. For this client's specific criteria, 38 condos and townhouses came up. 38. Wow. Out of those 38, 3 were available.
Really?
I'm showing 3 places tomorrow. And that's tomorrow.
Gosh.
I fully expect to wake up tomorrow.
And one of them could have an offer on
it. Absolutely. I might only be showing 2.
Wow.
Or 1. We don't know.
Well, yeah. I mean, you were telling me the house that's being built down the street just sold for 1.2 mil, and we bought for 650.
Yeah. It's just crazy.
That's insane.
Oh, and fun fact, the lowest price single family home in Nanaimo, it's a little 2-bed, 1-bath. It's $424,900.
Wow.
And the highest is $4.2 million.
Really? I didn't realize we had one that expensive.
It's been on the market on and off for like 7-8 years.
Oh, okay. Where's that one?
Northwood.
Northwood? I've never even heard of that.
Like by Mount Benson.
Like in the Benson Estates.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
It's up a mountain.
I'm kind of actually surprised that one would still be available. But I guess that's a high price.
It's been years.
Has the price increased over time?
It's gone up and down. I think when it was first listed in like 2013, it was like $7.5 million.
What?
And then it's gone down. And then
that's crazy.
It went down to like, I think like 3.75. And now it's gone back up to 4.2.
Oh my gosh, wow. No, it's gone back up.
The market's increased. The market's
you
gone
never
up.
know.
So, good luck.
My gosh,
good
that's
luck to
crazy
the sellers for that.
You know, I was thinking about this week. I'm planning our trip to Europe. Jeremy and I are going to Europe for our honeymoon in May.
Amazing.
Awesome. And I'm looking at Airbnbs, and I'm trying to find one in Paris right now. And they're all tiny, because they're all apartments there. Everybody lives in apartments if you live anywhere in like the downtown core of Paris. And so a lot of what I'm finding is little 25 square meters, which is only like a few hundred square feet. And it's literally just a tiny little bathroom, tiny little kitchen. And a kitchen means like a mini fridge, a hot plate, and like a little counter and a sink. That's really it. Most of them have a little sofa bed that converts into your bed.
Right.
And that's it. It's this room and that's it. So then I started thinking about how you see so many of these throughout Europe, and then look at our style of living where we have these massive houses, huge pieces of property that are being sold for millions of dollars. It's ridiculous.
They're laughing at us because
I know.
What do? They travel. They go to museums. They walk around.
Yes, they're barely home.
They do things.
Exactly. That's all it made me think of is like, wow, these places are really small. And then I thought, well, this is all you really need.
However, who was laughing during COVID?
Yeah, well, that's true. But it's really kind of unfortunate when you think about how, look at all the wealth that's here and all this consumer greed that we have here. Yeah. We just want bigger.
Yeah.
And in Europe, they're like, yeah, who cares? I just have this tiny little apartment. I'm barely here. I travel.
We live in Europe.
I know. You know, it's just so strange how it's just completely opposite. The needs are the same in a way, but then the wants and the desires and everything are so different. Yeah. You know, and it's like, I would give up this whole house if it meant that I got to travel all the time, or it meant that I got to live somewhere gorgeous like Paris, you know? Yeah. So it's just so funny how we pay thousands of dollars to like travel over there to stay in these tiny little apartments when we have like these amazing houses here. Yeah. It's just so strange, the different things that we need, right? Mm-hmm. But society, I always harp on society.
We live in a society.
Society has created this consumer greed that we have, and that we just want more, bigger and better all the time. It's crazy.
That's true.
But what are you supposed to do? I mean, at the end of the day, I think we personally on the island, we've like won the lottery for where we live.
Oh, 100%.
You know, I mean, it's so beautiful here, and we're very untouched from the rest of the world. And, you know, we're very free here, and we can do whatever we want and all that kind of stuff. And it's like other countries around the world don't have that, but it's a trade-off, right? Mm-hmm. Anyways, that's my rant on society.
Yeah. I mean, I think we live in the best place in the world.
I agree with you. And I know a lot of people that have lived around different places in the world or traveled a lot, and they've always said there's something about the island. Yeah. Have you heard of like portals before? Like there's some people that say that there's like 7 portals of the earth, and that I don't know where these portals go, but
I've heard of this,
you know
but like
about?
Sort of.
So I don't really know a lot about it, but it's kind of like an aura thing. Like there's something about the island that just has this energy about it.
Okay.
And some people say that Hawaii's like that too, that there's like an energy portal there, and there's just something about being there that just makes you feel like great and makes you feel like you belong and that you feel at home, and then the energy is like pulling you to go there all the time, and like that's how people feel about the island too. Like there's just something about the island that just makes you want to come back.
Because I mean, that's what I hear I have so many clients that are out of town, and they always say, you know, the island's calling my name. I need to get here. Sometimes it's like, you know, I traveled here in my 20s as a young girl, and
I've always wanted to come back.
I need to retire here, and you know, that type of thing. So
I know, like, I mean, I've traveled. I've never lived anywhere else. I've lived in Vancouver, but I've never lived anywhere else. So I can't compare it to living anywhere.
Yeah, same.
But I do kind of feel something about just, I feel at home here.
Well, think about this. Everybody that, I mean, I don't know about you, but like everybody that moved away in high school is back. They're back.
Yeah, I'd say you're probably pretty much right, actually.
I just didn't need to leave. I just always knew.
Yeah, I mean, I really kicked myself because in grade 12, I was more inclined at spending time with my boyfriend who was not in high school anymore. Like he got expelled. So I was like more inclined with spending time with him than like actually spending time in school. And I had all my credits. So I was like, oh, fuck it. And I really wish that I had like taken the time to go to university, because a lot of my friends went away to university. But at the same time, I don't know how I would have done like living
how much
somewhere
student
else.
debt you could have right now.
I know. Well, and that's the kind of trade-off, right? Like I got a lot of work experience, and I've worked my way up to where I am now without missing that 4 years. Mm-hmm. But I mean, I've been out of school for 10 years now, that it's like, would that have even mattered?
I don't know.
I don't know either.
I guess we'll never know.
I have no idea. But still, it's like, I think living somewhere would have been like difficult. I mean, my whole family's here, and there's just something about the island. I almost moved to
Fort McMurray. Do you know how different my life would be?
I didn't know that.
Oh yeah.
How old were you?
22.
Oh God, yeah, that would have been crazy.
Yeah.
I'm so happy.
I don't think I would have done drugs.
No, I don't think that you would have either, but I just think that's a hard lifestyle in general.
Yeah.
I mean, you're way up north, and you're surrounded by a lot of people that are just very money driven.
Oh, yeah. Well, I just wanted to be a server there because...
Yeah, you make killer money.
Exactly. I had a girlfriend who lived up there, and she would tell me about all the money that she would make working at a pub.
Yeah, I can imagine.
I was like, okay. Like, so I started working at a restaurant in Nanaimo that was like a chain.
Right.
So I was like, okay, so I'm going to work at this location.
And then you can transfer.
And then I was like, okay, so then I'm going to get a job in Fort Mac at the location there.
Interesting.
But it just didn't work out.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I was like, were you that young when I worked with you? But no. That's how I feel about Grand Prairie. I feel like Grand Prairie would have been the same thing.
Same type of vibe.
Yeah. That's just not my vibe. No. It's just not my thing. When I was dating Colin, he was living in Alberta for a bit. He was helping with the oil spill that was happening on the river there.
Oh, okay.
And I contemplated moving to Red Deer for a bit.
Yeah.
I was like legitimately looking at places online. Like we were talking about moving there. I'm so glad I didn't do that.
Yeah. I wonder if you would have met like people that we know, from Red Deer.
I've thought about
lots
that.
of people who are from Red Deer.
Yeah, I've thought about that actually.
That's funny.
Well, it's weird how small the world actually really is, and how small your circle really is.
Yeah.
Like I always talk about this because my mom's from Prince Rupert, and my mom runs into people fucking everywhere that she goes that are from Prince Rupert. Town of Prince Rupert only has 11,000 people that live there, and yet for some reason everyone is from Rupert or knows somebody that
my sister lives in Prince Rupert.
Exactly. Okay, it's so strange. And that's the thing. There's something about Rupert that drives people to go there too. It's some weird thing.
Well, I have no interest in going there.
It's very beautiful there, but I would never live there. But it's very, very beautiful. But either way, it's interesting how we're all somewhat connected, even though the world's huge. Have you ever heard of the red string theory?
Have I? I don't know.
it's basically, it's kind of like a legend, almost, so like a theory in Japanese culture about how everyone has like a proverbial red string attached to their pinky finger, and that that string's attached to many different people throughout your life, and the thicker the string, the more like closer that you are to those people. And so as you go through life, maybe your string just hasn't quite connected to that person yet, but at the end of the day, like, you're all connected by that string, and just like the thicker the string, the closer that you are. And so it's kind of the same sort of thing where you could be going on this path throughout your life, and 20 years from now you're going to meet somebody that's like extremely imperative to your life, and you're attached by a string right now and you have no idea, and eventually you're going to get to that point where that person's going to become huge. But it's so weird how you don't even know them now. You could pass them on the street right now and have no idea.
I feel about my boyfriend.
Oh God. Are you serious?
But like, you know, we have so many people in our life in common that we didn't know about beforehand. He went to prom with one of my really good friends.
Isn't that so weird?
How does that happen?
Well, look at Tash. I mean, so we have Tash on our podcast. Do you know how many people I have met that know Tash?
Yeah.
And I had never met Tash until I was at a birthday party. And
baby shower.
Whose baby shower?
Bowen.
Oh, I was thinking of Shilly's birthday when Tash was there. Either way, same group of people.
Yeah.
But I just started finding that I'm learning about more and more people that know Tash.
Everyone.
She knows everyone.
But like, isn't that funny how like...
And I never met her.
I know, and I'm really close with Tash. And how many people... Like, you know, I invite her to my birthday party, and it's like she knows everybody, and...
But all in different ways.
Yeah.
It's so strange.
Yeah, well, I mean, the golf tournament. I was in a golf tournament 2 weeks ago, and that was like prime example. I'm like, so Logan and Dylan were in the golf tournament,
right?
And they're like, oh yeah, we've met Tash. We know Tash.
Wait, Logan had met Tash before?
Maybe not Logan, but like Dylan met Tash. And so it was like, oh, like I was in the golf tournament because of Tash, but Tash is in the golf tournament because it's her work, and also she knows Sky. Like, it's just crazy.
I know. It's just kind of, it's so funny how like we all have these circles, and you kind of like converge on other people's circles.
This is getting real insular. We're just saying people's names.
Sorry if you don't know who any of these people are. If you don't know Tash, you probably should, because she knows everybody. She's been on the podcast, but it's the whole root of it just comes down to how funny it is, how small our world actually is when there's 7 billion people on the planet. Yeah. You know, and so it's just so funny how even when you travel, like I've heard lots of stories of people that travel to the most remote places.
Oh, totally.
And they run into someone that's like, oh yeah, I'm from there. Yeah. So when I was in England, I was supposed to go down to Paris, and I decided not to. I went to Scotland instead to see one of my friends who had just graduated from med school there. And it was a very like last minute decision kind of thing. Like I hadn't always planned on that. And when I was up in Scotland, I was like, I really want to go to Ireland, so I'm just gonna hop over and go to Ireland. When I'm on the plane, I meet this guy who lived in Belfast, and he starts chatting with me, and I said, you know, I'm only here for one day, and he's like, well, I'll show you around, like I'll show you some different stuff. We land, and I met up with him later, and he takes me to this bar. So we're sitting in the bar, and they're playing country music, and I was like, this is fucking weird. Like, we're in Ireland and they're playing country music. The guy comes over, and the waiter, and I kind of said something to him, and he goes, oh, well, like I'm from Canada, so I like this kind of stuff. And I said, oh, I'm from Canada too. Like, where are you from? He's like, oh, I'm from White Rock. And I'm like, oh, what? Like, really? And I like, how weird that you share some kind of small connection with someone halfway around the world. Yeah. It's just so strange. I like stuff like that.
I like stuff like that too.
Oh, Allie, you're my favorite. Oh my God, we're such losers.
We are not.
I hope that this has been really informative for everyone.
I mean, we're all over the place again, as usual.
You know, it's funny. I called my grandma before I got home, and she goes, oh, what are you doing? And I said, oh, I just left work. I'm going to go home and film a podcast. And she said, oh, that's so exciting. What are you guys talking about? And I said, I have absolutely no idea. I'm like, I have a list. Allie has a list. So it's likely just going to be a hodgepodge of ideas. Yeah. I like that.
That's what it usually is.
Yeah, that's true. We just go on tangents. We should really rename this podcast Tangents. I'm surprised that having Melanie on, we didn't go onto more tangents.
I didn't think the conversation was going to go that way.
We went very deep.
Yeah. I thought we were going to talk about, we talked about Britney, of course. I thought we were going to just talk about like funny shit.
Yeah.
And it got real serious.
She texted me after. She's like, wow, that podcast got really deep. But that's good though. That means that we have like flowing, interesting conversation. Right. And I mean, if we can help one person.
Yeah.
Then we're doing our job. I was also kind of thinking about how like we're called bitches in business, and yet we kind of talk about business, but not a lot.
Yeah, but we're bitches in business, and also we're real people, and we have other interests other than just work.
That is a very good point.
We're well-rounded people.
We're so well-rounded. We're so self-aware about how well-rounded we are. I love us.
I love us too.
Okay, I feel like we should wrap it up.
This is a little bit much. Okay, sorry guys.
We're just like loving ourselves. I hope no one listens to this episode because we sound like idiots.
Sorry about it.
It's fine.
Go follow us.
Follow us on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, not Facebook.
No.
Or Snapchat. Because fuck that.
No.
Don't follow us on LinkedIn either.
No.
Just follow us on Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok. Bitches in Business.
Without the I.
Well, there's an I in some of them.
Just look it up. You'll find it.
Exactly. Just look it up. We can't keep track of which one has the I and which one doesn't have the I. Just fucking look for it. Okay. You'll find us.
Thanks for listening. Sorry. Next time will be better.
We absolutely will. Thank you. Love you all. Goodbye.
Okay. Goodbye.